Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 11, Lesson 3, Surface Area of Prisms. So we're just going to be, again, building on those previous lessons of Chapter 11 and tying them all together. So let's look at the Unlock the Problem. Alex is designing wooden boxes for his books. Each box measures 15 inches by 12 inches by 10 inches. Before he buys wood, he needs to find the surface area of each box. What is the surface area of each box? So to solve this problem, it says that we need to use the net to find the surface area. So over here on the right, it shows us the box, and then to the left it has that unfolded into that net, which remember we said that just means we're putting it into the 2D figure instead of a 3D. Okay, so step 1 would be to find the area of each lettered face. Okay, so face A has already been done for us, which they said face A is 12 times 10, and we found that because face A here we have the 12 and the 10. Okay, so if we look at face B, they already showed us that as well, which they had the 15 times 10, and they got that because this over here is 15, which means that all of these are going to be 15. Those. So all of those yellows are going to equal 15 inches. So then we're going to multiply those together to figure out what the area of face B is, which is 150. Then looking at face C, we know we have 15 because that is the same. We know 15 from that side. So we have a height of 15, or a length, and then a width of 10. So we're going to do sorry. Okay, so I am realizing that my book and the online version are different. So bear with me if yours are different. My numbers are the same everywhere except for they labeled it differently. So my book has this as C, this is D, this is E, and that is F. So I'm going to solve it as though those are how it is lettered instead of the way this video is, because normally yours follows my book more than the internet is sometimes inaccurate. So sorry for that little glitch, but we're going to re-look at that. So we already knew B is still the same, A is still the same, so that was 150. So C, we're going to look at that, and that is, as we said, 15, and then 12. So we know that because this was 15. Sorry, I have to redo all that. There we go. And then if we looked at this one was 12, so we know that this would be 12, this would be 12, this would be 12. And they also tell us that these are 12 over there. So we know that face C has 15 and 12. So if we do that math, we'll take 15 times 12. 5 times 2 is 10. Add a 1 to our 10s. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 0 to hold in place. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 0, 8, 1. So that would be 180 inches squared. And then looking at face D, we have 10 inches because it tells us that. Right here, 10 inches, so that would be 10 inches. This tells us it's 10 inches, so we know that's 10 inches also. 10 inches, 10 inches. Okay, so all those blue sides would be 10 inches. And then we have a yellow side, which we've already determined is 15 inches. So we have 15 times 10, which is, we determined already, 150 inches squared. Face E, if we look at face E, we have a green and a yellow. A green was 12 and a yellow was 15. So again, we have 15 times 12, and as you can see above that, we have already solved that, so we know that is 180. And looking at F, we have a green side, which we said was 12 times the blue side, which we said was 10. So 12 times 10 equals 120 inches squared. So again, all we did was went through and found the area of each of those faces. Okay, so then we have all those areas, but then to find out what the total surface area is what we need to do in our next step, which is to find the sum of the areas of the faces. So we're going to take those numbers that I went through with you earlier, and then I just erased, and add them together. So we have 120 plus 150 plus 180 plus 150 plus 120 plus 180. Let's add all those up. So a whole lot of zeros, so we add a 0. And then we've got to go through and we have to add this column. So we have 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go through because I prefer to make nice numbers. So if this doesn't make sense to you, you can add it your way. But I'm going to take that 8 and 2, and I know that that's 10. And then I know 5 and 5 is another 10, so that makes 20. And then 8 and 2 is 30. So I'm going to put 0, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that would give me 900 inches squared. Make sure you add that label. So the surface area of each box is 900 inches squared. Okay, now looking down here at example 1, it says use a net to find the surface area of the triangular prism. The surface area equals the sum of the areas of the 3 rectangular faces and the 2 triangular bases. Note that the bases have the same area. So if it's triangular prism, remember we know that they're 2 triangular bases. It's named after the bases, okay? And then the faces are the thing that makes it the prism. So if we're looking at the area of bases A and E, okay, because we know that they're the same. So the areas of bases A and E, we have A equals 1/2 B times H, or base times height. That's our formula. So we're going to take 1/2 times, in our height, if we look at that triangle height right there, it is a 12. And then times, what is our base there? Which is 5. And if we solve that all out, 5 times 12 is 60, times 1/2 would be 30. Area of face B. So area equals length times width. So 5 times 10, 5 and 10. Okay, so 5 times 10 would be 50. Then looking at face C, we know area equals length times width again. So face C, we have the 12 and 10. Make sure you know where we're getting these numbers. If you do not, please raise your hand and ask a teacher. Area of face D, we have, so for face D, we have 13 and 10. I forgot to go through. 12 times 10 is 120. 13 times 10 is 130. Okay, so that should cover all of our faces. Now, we have to go through and they put 2 times 30, because we found the area of one of those bases, and now we have to make sure that we do that for both of them. So 2 times 30 plus 50 plus 120 plus 30. 130. Okay, so remember PEMDAS, which means we have to multiply before we add. So we're going to take that 30 times 2, which is 60, and we're going to add that to 50, which is... And then we're going to take that and add 120. So 120 plus 110 is 230 plus 130 is 360. So our answer is the surface area of the triangular prism is 360 inches squared. And looking on down at example 2. Find the surface area of the cube. One way is to use a net. Okay, so one way is that we can use that net. So to find the area of each face, all the faces are squares with a side length of what? Okay, so that's a side length of 5 centimeters. So the areas of all the squares are the same. So we know that with a cube, all the sides are going to be the same. So all the areas are going to be the same. So the area of one face is A equals 5 times 5, because that's the area of one of these cubes, or one of these squares of the cube. So 5 times 5 is 25. And we're going to make sure we label centimeters squared. So then the second step would be to find the sum of all the areas of all the faces. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to find all 6 faces. So it would be 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25, all 6 times. And if we add those up, again, you can do this however you would like, but I would think those are 50, that's another 50, that's another 50. 50 plus 50 plus 50 is 150 centimeters squared. So that's one way to think of that. And another way to think of that is to use a formula. So you can also write the surface area of a cube using the formula S equals 6 sides squared, where S is the surface area or the big S, sorry, the capital S is the surface area and the lowercase s is the side length of the cube. So if you write the formula, capital S equals 6 lowercase s squared, then replace the lowercase s with 5. You're going to do that because you know that that's the side length, and that's what we're replacing. So 5 squared. So s equals 6 times 5 squared, which is 25. And we already did the math. We know 6 times 25 is the same thing as 25 plus 25 plus 25 6 different times. Okay, so then we know 6 times 25 is 150, which gives us 150 centimeters squared. Okay, and so that is all for Chapter 11, Lesson 3. Again, our objective was you will use nets and use a formula to find the surface area of a prism, and hopefully by the end of the video, you can use nets and use formulas both to find the surface area of a given prism.